The records are now open. Welcome you guys to, I shouldn't quiet that down. I should just let that ring. Let freedom ring. Welcome to Akashic Answers with Emily. I am your host, Emily Harrison, the founder and director here inside the Akashic Academy. I want to welcome you guys to our network of amazing shows that we have going. And if you have questions about your life, things that are important to you to get answers to, I want to invite you to tune in today, share this out with your friends, and participate in this show, because every single person who shows up in this space will receive the most amazing energy from the Akashic Records that serves to expand our consciousness, expand our awareness. It's so fun to be bringing you guys this show. I really get to show off the dynamic skills of the Akashic Records. Not only can we get guidance, insight, healing, clarity, we can also activate our psychic senses. We expand our consciousness, which for those of you guys who are just joining me in intuitive development, you know that that idea of expanding to new possibilities is all we need to begin the process of ascension, of expanding our consciousness. It's really that simple. So many tools that we have to assist us along the way. And I'm really excited that I just got to share that time with you guys. How many of you out there right now were in that intuitive development class? I just want to see some hands raised out there. If you are one of our 30 new members inside the Academy, we are so grateful that you are joining us inside of this space, because we know how important the mission of Lightworkers is here on the planet, to share our gifts, our skills, to really start to integrate this higher knowing. A lot of this information has been secret and hidden for a long time, right? So not only do we have to uncover and understand the dynamics of these quantum energies, which we are unfolding. This is the multidimensional aspect of ourself that we're stepping in, we're learning how to use. But we're also figuring out what it means to practically apply this information to our lives. And the Akashic Records are a beautiful way to do that. We're going to dive into some live readings here today. So many of you guys are going to get to ask your questions here, right here on the show. If you have a bunch of questions, you guys are already starting to raring to go, you can go ahead and start typing your questions in. I'm going to go over just a few more aspects of how this space works, and we are going to do a drawing. Somebody's going to get a free private Akashic Record session today. So let's take a moment. I want you guys to share this out. There is somebody in your life who's going to benefit from this information. And just by sharing, you are helping to send this information out into the consciousness. This is all about the highest good for everyone involved. This is about expanding and creating space to love ourselves, to be compassionate, to be tolerant of each other, and to heal the issues of our life that are preventing us from staying in that space of oneness, that space of peace, love, and joy. This is the energy of the 5D, the new earth. It means that your baseline resonance is peace, love, and joy. It means that you're not having to redirect yourself in every moment. But I don't know about you guys. I still get triggered in moments. I'm still redirecting myself in a lot of moments. So doing this kind of work, I find, is really, really powerful and effective. If it's the first time that you're here doing this work, very cool. This is just something to be open to and experience. Come in with an open mind, open heart, and be ready to have awareness of how you shift, how you grow, how you expand as your week goes on. I want to also invite you guys to share this out. I'm just going to take a quick moment and share this out. I've got to do my own due diligence here. Share myself out. Nice. Share to a group. Which groups have I not been banned to yet? Sometimes I overpost in groups. I've gotten kicked out of a few. All right, so we are going to do the drawing right now for the second giveaway from the activation that Coach Nick and I did this last weekend of how to activate your self-worth. All right, all you worthies in here. I got everybody's names. Now, to participate in this drawing, you had to be registered for our event. You had to come participate in the event and stay for the whole time. That's how you got your name in the pot here. So as you can see, I'm going to put up, well, I'll put so the camera up. Dun, 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 dun. And the winner is, it's teeny tiny, you guys can't see it, it's actually hilarious. Margaret Grethko. Woo! I love you, Margaret. We're going to be hanging out, doing some work. Margaret is actually, has come into my consciousness, my inner circle recently. Margaret is a student of learning to read the Akashic Records, and we've been having such a rockin' time, so many areas to grow and expand inside of that space. So Margaret, we can continue on our work privately from this week in class, and let's dive into a session. I will reach out to you and make sure that you know that you get that Akashic Record session. And thank you for showing up and being in that space of how to stand in your self-worth. Okay, so we're going to dive in. We are going to do some readings now. Nice, it's only 12:05. We'll have a lot of times to do readings today. I want to let you know that even if you don't get your personal question asked in this space, it is okay. Knowledge is going to come in for the specific question that and the specific Akashic Records of the person that I'm tuning in for. However, if the message resonates with you, that guidance is for you. And if it resonates, meaning you feel an alignment, you feel a curiosity, you feel an expansion, that means the quality, the vibrational frequency of that message, which contains expansion, is working for you. So you will all receive energy, expansion, and enlightenment, and the ability to hold more joy, more possibility just by showing up in this space. After each question, we also do an energetic transmission from the space of the Akashic Records. And again, that is not individual. That is available to anybody who would like to receive that. And I'm going to go in now and look for questions, but I have to tune back into the broadcast in order to see what everybody's saying here. Good to see you all. Good to see you. I think I have to let my phone catch up for just a second, so I can see some questions. Ooh, Lamorla Smith says, at night her body feels like it's vibrating all over. She's an energy healer. What's the next level of your spiritual gifts? I love it because we had a question about that last week, and we were talking about ascension symptoms. When your body is experiencing that stuff at night, then you can begin to start saying, all right, I'm experiencing ascension symptoms. I'm expanding. This is evidence that your physiological structure is learning to hold more energy. From a metaphysical standpoint, what's happening right now in our collective consciousness, the upgrading that's happening, is that our physical bodies are becoming crystalline in nature. And this happens within the space of our thoughts, our emotions, within our physical body. And many times there are symptoms that are associated with this. And you will experience them at nighttime when you've let your guard down a little bit and you're in that space of drifting off into the astral planes, where a lot of us do a ton of work. If you have a very active dream life, you can understand that to be astral travel, your consciousness traveling into higher dimensional realms. Just because you don't have a lot of dreams doesn't necessarily mean you're not doing a lot of work in your nighttime though. I tend to not have a ton of recollection of my dreams unless there's specific energy going on. That's one way that they'll really get my attention. So if I have a dream that is really memorable, I know that I need to write that one down. Those of you guys who are consistent and avid dreamers, super important that you have a dream journal so that you can keep track of the information that is coming through. All right, Lamora, I want to talk about what the next steps are, okay? The next steps are to begin to unravel your curiosity, because there's a lot to learn, a lot of different ways about how we energy heal. Many of us feel called or guided to do this light work, to be energy healers. We may have experienced interesting kinds of transformational healing ourselves, either in our emotions or physically. When I was a kid, I got rheumatic fever and got pretty sick and went through some really interesting, miraculous kind of healings. My little brother had an experience like that. A lot of times kids will go through those processes so that they can attain that quality within their own energy field by experiencing that. So creating or setting up an experience for yourself is going to be really important. And I always recommend that you have a mentor when you create experiences like that for yourself. An experience, and we were just talking about this in intuitive development, experience your own one-on-one personal experience with the energy, with the purposeful seeking of expanding your own consciousness, creates a really, really powerful space. So powerful that I've been doing this all day. The energy is powerful. Short-circuiting. If you guys hear me talk about short-circuiting, it means I completely blanked about whatever I was talking about right here in this moment. So it takes me a second to jump back in and get it back. So we were talking about mental space. Here's how you know, I'm back on track now, by the way. Here's how you know what areas are good for you to follow. For me, it was the Akashic Records. For some of you guys, it's going to be Reiki. For some of you guys, it'll be yoga teachers. For some of you guys, it will be being intuitive card readers. For some of you, it will feel like becoming an intuitive life coach, a theta healer. All of these are different technologies and modes that you will find accessible and available to you. Here's my advice in terms of figuring out which one to follow. If you are one of those light workers who feel like you're being called, you feel like you want to understand your energy healing abilities more, what excites you? What are you passionate about? We are designed to work in those energy avenues of our own passion, curiosity, and draw and magnetic pull, because we expand the most in those spaces. So you will be able to affect the most change in yourself and in other people that you work with by simply following whichever one feels expansive and exciting to you. Okay? For me, oh man, the Akashic Records were such a beautiful assimilation of all the knowledge in the universe, which felt like I didn't have to pick Reiki or yoga or cards. Even though I had been reading cards for a while intuitively, I wouldn't necessarily call what I was doing Reiki, because there's a lot of respect and initiation and learning that happens when you go through these courses. And I have not been through a Reiki course. I am not a Reiki master. I'm not a Reiki practitioner. However, I have felt very called in times of my life to send energy through my body. I learned from Rhonda, it's gloves. It's mitts, not gloves. Mitts, not gloves. I know that about Reiki. But intuitively, I have used that when I felt like either using symbols or sending energy through my hands was necessary, working with a client. But all of that information came channeled through the space of the Akashic Records, which is, again, why I love that modality, because it gives me the right information for each person that I'm working with, and it also presents the right protocol. So for any of you guys out there, here we'll send a transmission through. Any of you guys out there who are wanting to understand specifically what your energy healing gifts are more dynamically, I'm going to send that energy through. It's a perfect time to plug the Academy too, because that's what we're really all about, is not only helping you to, those of you who already know what your skills are, to continue to hone those skills, but we continue to shift and expand and change. So if you're a card reader right now, your experience may evolve to a different aspect or a marriage aspect of reading cards and doing other kind of work for people. So if you are not in a space of growth and expansion yourself, you're not going to experience that in your process, in your own ability to show up for the people that you're here to show up for. And that includes yourself as well. So the Akashic Academy is, being a member of the Academy is what I'm talking about, because we offer specific training workshops designed to make you really good at this stuff, to expand, continually expand you. And of course, check out the website if you're interested in joining the Academy. And now I'm going to send through transmission from the Akashic Records. Anybody who wants to understand their own energy healing gifts more dynamically, open to receive this transmission. Receive it in the space of your heart and being guided to share with you guys. So imagine just breathing with your heart and just breathing in that energy, that knowledge, that knowing, that understanding. Good. All right, let's ground that in. So we just received a big, expansive amount of energy. Now we want to send that into the ground. Feel your feet on the ground for a moment. Imagine that connection with Mother Earth. This not only helps us integrate the energy into our lives for practical use, but it also gives it back to the crystalline grid. The crystalline grid is a grid of consciousness that runs underneath our feet in Mother Earth. And it allows us to send information very, very quickly. We also have a Christ consciousness grid that exists up above our head, and that allows us to send very high level information very quickly as well. So, let's go ahead and plug into the Christ consciousness grid. You guys want to? I want you just to imagine yourself taking a nice deep breath. Imagine yourself growing and expanding so that you just become very, very huge. The Christ consciousness grid exists up a ways, so just allow yourself to get nice and big. Intuitively, you find the spot. And allow your third eye, which is right here, everybody, an energetic wheel. This is a chakra. Allow your third eye to align to. Just imagine like a connection point on that Christ consciousness grid. Good work. Good work, good work. Okay, I'm going to tune in and grab another question. All righty. All right, guys, type in some more questions because my phone's not really letting me scroll. Maybe it will if I... Here's a question. Mark Manzella says, why my guides rubbish? Are your guides rubbishing you? Well, okay, so first of all, perspectives change into being ready and open to receive. Specifically coming in for you, my friend Mark, Mark M. And for anybody else who is of the belief that humanity is not ready for this, or your friends and family are not ready for this, or if you scoff at what you see, like if you tune into the news and you watch what's going on in people and you start having a scoffy opinion, that's of course the real word. If you start scoffing at it, if you start noticing the disgust and the detest rising in you for the current state of society, let me invite you to shift that perspective and see what happens to you, because here's what I have noticed and what my guides are bringing in right now. And that is that belief that society is not ready is the belief that somewhere inside of you, you're not ready. Anything that you notice happening in our society is a reflection of some part of your own consciousness. So if you notice it, if you have an awareness of it, and especially if it triggers your ass, meaning if it makes you irritable, if it makes disgust rise in you, if it makes joy rise in you, for that matter, we don't just reflect, we reflect everything, not just the bad good, and really bad good, you know, just vibrational frequency, right? But we're constantly reflecting something that is a belief of ourselves. If you find that you have that belief, I want to challenge you to shift that energy simply by shifting your perspective and begin to honor the nature of consciousness itself, people, is to expand. And each person who is alive and breathing on the planet is a conscious being. Their consciousness is expanding perfectly at the stage for them. That's part of a recognition of our own growth, is when you truly get to the stage where you will freely allow someone else to experience whatever is important to them. Not what's important to you, but what's important to them. What's important to them? I don't know. Take a look around their life and see what they created. That will show you what is important to them. giving them the freedom to experience that is a sign of your own growth, even if it's, especially I should say, if it's not in alignment with what you think what's best for them. And ultimately, back to the reflection conversation, the person who's showing up, either you agree with how they're expanding or you don't agree with how they're expanding, they're still on some level reflecting you back to you, even though they're having their own experience, which is just goes to show you the beautiful complexity with which this matrix has been assembled. Yet we can learn to navigate it with the most beautiful simplicity just by learning to shift our perspective. When you shift your perspective, and especially if you are a light worker out there, if you find yourself saying people aren't ready for what I do, or you feel like people aren't getting you, it's time to release that. It comes from fear. It comes from our, like I said, our own aspects of where we are still not fully stepping in full alignment to the 5D nature of who we are. So if that is you, if you would like to shift your awareness and begin to recognize that not only are you ready, but so is the rest of the planet, I want you to feel free to open, receive, and ground that energy from the space of the records. This is a hugely important one, in my opinion. So, Mark, thank you so much for bringing this question forward. Because if you are a light worker, it is imperative that you believe this and that you really believe it. And sometimes you got to fake it until you make it, all right? If you've been disgusted with society for a long time, and things run in our generational energy too. If you have, oh hell, especially if y'all have relatives who are the mayor of your town, or if you have politics running through, or just like a love for politics, if you've got like Uncle Larry who constantly likes to talk about Donald Trump at the, oh, I almost kicked over my water. Good time to drink it. At the family reunion, then it's quite possible that that energy of being ignited by something like that, it runs through you. This is a great time to expand your awareness and create space for another dimensional reality to exist. Okay? Sending in the energy right now to believe that society is ready for this, to believe that we are ready for this, to fully integrate that. Many of us have been experiencing those energy cycles and frequencies for a long time that keep us very locked in rigid beliefs and experiences. So we want to activate the power of this simple perspective shift and opening to change a massive amount of things in our world, opening us to many new possibilities. So receiving that energy. Awesome. All right, let me pick up the time. 12:23. All right, we have time for more readings. Okay, awesome question. Kat Lubin. What is a good next step for the purposes of learning to channel? How many of you guys out there want to channel? If you want to channel, if you think you already do channel, if you have a hunch that you might channel, if you know, if Amanda Marie's out there, she's like, damn, I channel. My girlfriend Amanda Marie Masters is an awesome channel. She does fantastic work. Another host here at the Akashic Academy, Brad Johnson, is an amazing channel. So what I want to share with you, Kat, is my own experience. First of all, for me, channeling came about after I had spent time building and cultivating my own skills, sharpening my own psychic abilities, my intuitive abilities, which all of us have. And you can work those out like muscles, by the way, just like you go to the gym and you get great abs, you can work out your clairsenses so that the energy becomes very clear and specific. So for me, I spent time cultivating those skills, and then I began to notice other people who were really good at it coming into my awareness, and I just lit up around them. I was very curious. I was very excited to know more. I pretty much trolled both of those people I mentioned on YouTube after I stumbled on them, both Amanda Marie Masters and Brad Johnson. So, oh, Michaela Sheldon is another person that I will say I really love watching the channelings that she does. And for me, being in the experience of watching somebody else do that activated me or opened that avenue on a lot of levels for me. One, not only was I getting the information, so that was one level of activation, but being in the frequency of somebody who is doing it and knowing that I could do it too, just like being in that space and being open, really helped me move into that. Let me see what else that they want to say to you about that. Oh, some people have more of a spontaneous kind of awakening. Now, when you listen to Amanda's story, Amanda tells a story about having an accident that was a point of transformation, a point of expansion for her consciousness, where based on what she experienced, she wasn't the same after that event. Mine was more of a gradual buildup, and it came differently. After Amanda's event, she just felt like she had to start bringing this information through. And she does it for you. She actually writes an article, How to Channel, and she channels Dr. Wayne Dyer for the article inside the Akashic magazine, the fall edition that we just dropped. So be sure that you pick up that if you want to know how to channel. That is a great one. Great one. Great resource if you want to learn to channel. The other thing is to recognize that channeling looks like a lot of different things. It's not just going into a trance, which there are slight differences between those, channeling. It can also be writing. It can also be when you're talking to a loved one and you find that beautiful, compassionate advice just starts pouring out of you. That's channeling. Sometimes if you guys are energy healers and you do live videos, then sometimes you find you hit go and the information just starts coming out of you. That's channeling. You can channel thoughts and information. Really, we're always channeling something. But if you want to learn how to bring those messages through in a more profound way, really important that you follow that. In terms of the first question about how do I become a more dynamic energy healer, understand my energy healing better, if you feel called to learn about channeling and to open in that way to share, then that is an area that you should definitely follow. Let me see what else they have to say about that. I feel like your daughter is channeling and is a channel, and she's really expanding in some of her gifts and skills and abilities right now. And when we talked about Kat, and actually, Kat, now that I say that, I don't know if you have an actual daughter or if you have a niece, or if this is an energetic young being around you in some way, but it's definitely that daughter energy. It's that starseed child energy, and it's very, very close to you. But the energy is so high and so powerful from this being. I honestly don't know if this being is in physical form or if she's in fully light being form. But definitely daughter energy connected to you that's bringing about this channeling. So when you recognize that you're in the presence of that, and I don't know again if it's happening in your real life, in your meditation, in your dream life, where it's happening, but this is a guide coming to you. Similar to how I said when Amanda came into my frequency, when Brad came into my frequency, they began to naturally enhance my own ability to do that just because they were good at it and I was acknowledging they were good at it. So there is a light being teacher around you right now, very close to you, who is activating your skills in that area, okay? All right, so for anybody who wants to open themselves to channeling and get better at that, I'm just going to send the information, send that energy transmission now through the Akashic Records. Anybody who wants to receive it, just saying yes, typing in yes, acknowledging what they're saying, telling me right now. Yes takes us into a place of softness where we can fully receive full relaxation. Keeping it my hand, 1229. All right, everybody. Sending that on through to you. We have coming up next, which is why I have to abruptly wrap up now. I can sit here and do this with you guys all day. But here at the Akashic Academy, we've got a big vision. We are creating space where you will have 24/7 access, eventually, to constant the live streams. I thought that so fast because Robert scope it up. To constant live stream shows, and here on Wednesdays we have 5 shows stacked back to back. So I'm gonna get off here. Robin McClendon's coming up next. Just stay tuned right here for Conversations with Gaia. And this is just the beginning of the day. I want you guys to stay tuned, hang out, and continue to open and expand. Let what you experienced here today be the space that you created to open yourself and continue to learn and grow here with our awesome energy healers, experts,